This is Locomotion. It's a railway museum in Shildon, and they've got lots of things that used to be elsewhere. There's a big shed of locos over there. I'm going to the main hall first, so let's go. Oh, let's also lock the car. That's better. Right, let's go. Well, this is Shildon, and I've never been here before. I've seen some of the trains, locos and other things out of here, but I've never actually been here before, and it's quite good. So we've got Locomotion number 1, and we've got an APT, which we're still using at home. You can go up and look inside the APT, I'll do that in a wee second. We've got the big Brunswick Green diesel that used to be on the turntable in York until last year. We've got the first Deltic, first class was 5, and I don't know what that one is. Check that one out later. Let's go have a wee swatch at this in the cabin APT. So you found me aboard rocket. Obviously not the real one, but it was pretty close. And we're in these carriages with no seats or roofs. I'm on a moving rocket now, and it's going forwards, and it's not as loud as I thought it would be. In fact, it stopped altogether now. There it goes again. Well, this one's a refugee from York. Up until last year, this one was sitting on the turntable in York. I knew they'd moved it here. It's a very early Type 4 diesel in Brunswick Green. This, on the other hand, back here, that's the prototype Class 55, the prototype Deltic. They made it look like that because they thought they might sell it to the American market, so they put a big headlight in the front and sort of streamy things. This didn't really happen, but there are still some going about. There's 3 or 4 that still got mainline ticket, and they had a revolutionary kind of engine. Actually, it was a marine engine, but it had 3 cylinders with 6 pistons, and they were all arranged around each other, and it's just great. And that's the Deltic, because Delta is triangular. This is an APT, an advanced passenger train. Famously tilted, and famously some beard up journalists felt a bit sick on it. Maybe it wasn't quite ready for use when they tried it. I used to see it sitting outside Glasgow Central. Maybe not this one, but I used to see an APT sitting outside Glasgow Central, looking very sad for itself in the mid-80s. So it was kind of ahead of the game, but didn't quite work. These days we've got Pendolinos, but this one was tilting before that. Just partly people sick. I've never been this close to an APT before, but the sides of the carriages aren't straight, they're curved. I'm guessing that has something to do with the tilting. I'll look into it later, but it's quite, you can really see it down in the bogies there, where the body's curving in above the bogies. Obviously it's a Stanier Black 5. I think they use these on the Harry Potter trains that go over the Glenfinnan. Obviously there's a diesel at the back doing all the work, but these are quite popular. They could do anything. They could go fast, they could do freight, all kinds of stuff. And they're called Stanier Black 5s because they were designed by a guy called Stanier, and they're black, and I guess there was a number 5 in there someplace. Anyway, that's a Stanier Black 5, and you're allowed to go into the cab, but there's somebody in there just now, so I'll just wait a wee minute and then I'll go and have a look in the cab. This here is one of those old slam door coaches from London. So there were doors all the way along. There's a door there, there's a door there, there's a door there, there's a big door there, and you can get lots of people on and off them really, really fast. Couldn't do it now because it wouldn't be safe anymore, but that's what we used to do. So this is a wagon wheel. You'd get on in London, you'd get off in Paris. You didn't get off on the boat, the train went on the boat, you stayed in your carriage. Maybe asleep, but that's what this one was about. So this one behind me is called Sans Pareil, which means like the best, there are no equals. Unfortunately for Sans Pareil, there was a better one, which is behind it, and that's Rocket. So Sans Pareil, unfortunately named because there was actually a better one. So this here's Winston Churchill, which used to be in York until about a year ago, maybe 2 years ago. And you'll notice there's no fancy schmancy valve gear here. That's because they used chain drive valve gear, but it was a bit of a problem, it didn't work all that well and some had been replaced. This one's got the original valve gear, so it doesn't have all the things that go backwards and forwards to let the steam in and out the cylinders. Unusual, apparently it was a bit hard to fix, so a lot of them have been rebuilt, but this one hasn't. Swanishi's got a couple of these, so I've been in trains getting hauled by these in the past. So the thing you thought you would never see, a Flying Scotsman and a Pacer in the same shot. Now the Pacer, as we know, is nobody's favourite. It's a bus. That's it, it's a bus. And they were horrible and screechy. They were cheap, but they were horrible and screechy. And they were horrible and screechy because they didn't have actual bogies, they just had 4 wheels, because it's a bus. Check out this bad boy. This one was made for carrying coal up a steep incline, and it's got 1, 2, 3, 4 driving wheels on each side, so 8 driving wheels altogether, which apparently made it a lot better at pulling coal up hills. British Rail Class 31. And the information board says that there were doors in the front, so when you were running a double header, you could go from one loco to the other. I think that's the door, and you're supposed to come out there and go into the other loco's cab. I think I might stop, but who knows? It's a Class 37, but this is as close as you're able to get to it because it's fenced off. But it's a Class 37. They're the best. So this would be the oldest continuously used railway bridge in the world. It's actually an older railway bridge in Paisley, but it started out as a canal bridge and it didn't get a railway into the 1880s. So there you go.